Welcome back to Mock the Mock, where we take a look at someone else's mock draft. And I'm mocking, giving you my views, thoughts, and opinions. And Maurice Jones-Drew, his first mock is out of the year. And we know that this is a yearly tradition, man. We always look forward to MJD's first mock draft because they're always a banger. But what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that nice, beautiful football discourse. We will have a walk the mock later tonight. So if you want to get on that, go ahead, take a look at it. It's on my Twitter. It's on the channel. Check out the channel. Find the live stream. We'll be doing that later tonight. Let's go ahead, get into this, because right from the get-go, pick one is interesting. He goes with Travon Walker instead of Aiden Hutchinson at number 1. Holy moly. He talks about Walker's coming off a great combine performance that has the scouting community buzzing, which we have been talking about that recently. And I don't know if it's enough to go over over a guy like Aiden Hutchinson, who's just since week 1 season opener for Michigan has just been stomping his way to the first overall pick. Travon Walker, the way he tests out, it is insane. I would say it's akin to like a Rashawn Gary, who went, I believe, like 12 to Green Bay a few years ago. I don't know. I think he goes top 10. I don't think he makes it to number 1. But hey, man, I appreciate you, Maurice, man. I appreciate you. Little Hercules. He's putting a smile on my face. Aiden Hutchinson goes number 2. So you got the hometown boys staying in Michigan. So I guess ideally, that's kind of a nice little story to have there. But I don't see Aiden Hutchinson making it past 1. Given everything they've already done with the offensive line, it's kind of assumed that that's kind of like they're not looking to improve that. They'll be looking to improve the defense. They'll be looking to improve the receiving core through this draft. That's at least my assumption. But Detroit, they come in, they're going really best player available. If Aiden Hutchinson somehow makes it a 2, I think that's the guy. And then we're going edge, back to back to back. KT going to the Houston Texans, as we already see who the Jets pick. But let's talk about KT real quick. Listen, I'm still high on KT. I think he's just got those elite traits. There may be some character concerns for some people. I'm not too worried about it. He would be a good fit for Houston. Like he puts Lovie Smith's defense. Would love that. Kyle Hamilton going to the Jets. They did let Marcus May go. They brought in Jordan Whitehead. He's more of a box guy. Kyle Hampton's more like this cat that I think could play really any role for your defense if you want him in as like as a dime linebacker. If you want to play corner, slot, box, free, like he can do a lot of different things. And that would be awesome for Salah's defense. He's a top 5 prospect for largely everybody. So him going at 4, I don't mind that much. So we got the Giants. This has to be one of the tackles, right? He's going Evan Neal to the Giants. Makes a world of sense. I mean, Evan Neal is my top guy. So, yeah. Giants, they need to address that tackle position. They have addressed both guard positions. It could be in the cards. Maybe they go 7. They go with one of the center prospects, whether you believe that's Tyler Linderbaum or a guy like Zion Johnson, who could really play anywhere for your offensive line. So it'll be interesting to see what they do at number 7. But at number 6, Carolina Panthers, they do go quarterback. They go Kenny Pickett. So we know this is predictive on MJD's part, as Kenny Pickett, man, and the Panthers, it seems to be like that's the guy that they're honing in on. I really believe this pick ends up being quarterback. If you think Matt Rule logic, granted, he's not going to be the guy that gets the final say. Him and Scott Fitterer are going to be going back and forth. Fitterer, I know, would prefer to go best player available, just adding talent. It's going to come down to the owner, man. Who's he going to side with? And for all intents and purposes, if you're doing predictive, then it's probably the quarterback position. Kenny Pickett going ahead of Malik Willis. Seems a bit rich, but Carolina has been linked to Kenny Pickett. They were trying to also get a meeting with Matt Corral, and I believe they weren't able to schedule anything, that they ended up just talking to him on the sideline. I'm not saying Matt Corral's in contention for this pick, but it wouldn't surprise me. And then at 7, do they go with a center? No, they go Jermaine Johnson, dude. I'm a big Jermaine Johnson fan. I think he could probably go into the top 10. I think he's a top 10 prospect for me. So, yeah, Jermaine Johnson, pretty darn good. The Atlanta Falcons, you got to believe they're going receiver, and they do with Drake London. They have one of the worst receiving cores in football because they have no one playing receiver. Their best weapons are Cordell Patterson, who is kind of whatever you want him to be, and then Kyle Pitts. So with Calvin Ridley having the suspension, with Russell Gage going to the Bucs, you got to imagine they go with the top receiver on their board. Might not be Drake London for me. He didn't perform at his pro day, so we won't get a chance to see what his tested numbers will be, but I imagine he doesn't fall out of the top 20. Seattle Seahawks. Looks like they will go with the heir apparent to Russell Wilson and Malik Willis here. Malik Willis, man, he showed us nothing new at the pro day. People will be gassing him up because it'd be like, oh man, that arm talent is really on display. But it's like, we kind of already knew that heading into this season. So it shouldn't really rise him up anyone's boards or anything. If anything, it's just the further we go through this process, the better of a human being Malik Willis just seems, man. He just seems like a great guy you would love to have for your franchise. Seahawks, yes, you're in a rebuild. You don't need him to start immediately, so maybe grabbing him here seems ideal. Or you could really just take the best talent in this draft and maybe focus on the quarterback position next year. I think that could be also a possibility. So the Seahawks, I'm not wild about them going Malik Willis, but he's going to end up going somewhere, I think, in the top 10. And I think Atlanta and the Seahawks are two spots that make sense. And then number 10, the Jets, they go with Sauce Gardner with their next pick. Just because they brought in DJ Reed doesn't mean they're done yet with the corner position. Keep adding talent to the corner position. It's the most volatile position in all of football. So just amassing that talent. It's top notch. This one's a bit interesting with the Washington Commanders. Going with Ike Ekemegwanu. Granted, yeah, the tackles have kind of fallen thus far in this draft, so it is immense value you're getting here. Talk about Samuel Cosme sliding inside to fill the guard void. I feel like that would probably be a chem if this is the case, if this is a scenario. I think they're going to be content with Cosme at right tackle as they have Leno at left. They also brought Cornelius Lucas back. So grabbing more depth on the interior does seem like it should be a priority. But because they also released Eric Flowers. So Chem's interesting, but from a value standpoint, it's good. Minnesota Vikings, Derek Stanley. Listen, everyone and their mom knows they have the worst right now cornerback room in all of football. So adding corner just makes sense. Derek Stanley, he's got, like, in terms of him being an athlete, he's a top 5 talent, a guy you could put on an island. So yeah, them going with him here makes a ton of sense. The Houston Texans, Andrew Booth. This seems early for me when it comes to Booth. He didn't really have the offseason draft process because of injury that we would expect, but talks about playing opposite. Desmond Keen's playing slot, man. That dude's the dude's a solid slot guy. I don't see like Keen playing slot and playing free. That's kind of what he does. But grabbing Booth here, I get it with Lovie Smith being more of a defensive-minded coach, the possibility of that, but I don't know. Charles Cross seems like the better talent available here on the board. Or they could go with one of the wide receivers, help out their boy Davis Mills there. So, I don't know. Baltimore Ravens go on Garrett Wilson. We've kind of played with this idea, which I think would this means Hollywood Brown is on the trading block. And again, he's a guy that they like playing in the slot. So they can have Garrett Wilson, Rashad Bateman outside, and then have Hollywood in the slot. But I mean, I think it makes more sense to potentially move him. But Garrett Wilson, I don't mind them going with Garrett Wilson and the Ravens. I like it. I think Ravens probably very likely that they're a big trade down candidate here. And then the Philadelphia Eagles go with George Karlaftis, one of the hardest guys to project where he may go in this draft class. They did just bring back Derek Barnett. Obviously, they signed Hassan Reddick. But I mean, when you got 3 first-round picks, you don't mind grabbing more depth. So they address the defensive line. Actually, with both picks, because they go Devontae Wyatt. No Jordan Davis off the board just yet. They go with Wyatt. I'm a big fan of Wyatt, man. I think if there wasn't a Jordan Davis, then we'd be talking more about Wyatt and how he tested out the combine, because he did. He tested out phenomenally. So they literally go back to the well twice to address the defensive line in this draft. And then Jordan Davis, chalk it up, man. If Jordan Davis makes it to 17, he's such an easy guy to project going to the Chargers. It is what it is. They go with him. It makes a ton of sense. If he's available, yeah, Chargers, sprint the card in. Let's see what he has the Saints doing. Charles Cross, yeah, Charles Cross making it here. They did just lose Terron Armstead, so that makes a world of sense, man. If guy like Charles Cross is available, you might be like, oh, we could maybe address receiver in the second round. And then the Eagles' next pick is Jameson Williams. He says no linebacker here, which I'm not against, man. I don't think the linebacker, I think the value at linebacker is in the second round. But Jameson Williams, pairing him up with Smith, gives you a lot of interest in speed there on the outside. I kind of prefer them getting a bigger style receiver, but I mean, I got Williams higher anyway, so I'm not opposed to that whatsoever. And then the Pittsburgh Steelers go Trevor Penning. I kind of like this fit. He comes in, he's your left tackle. I know a lot of people like Dan Moore. There was a little promise, but I don't think he shows any, he doesn't show enough upside for me to really want to. I'm going to upgrade. If I can upgrade over, I'm going to try to upgrade. You got a much better talent here in Penning than Dan Moore. So I think them going offensive line makes a load of sense. Defensively, they could also really address anything on the defense at this pick, and I won't think anything of it. The guys like Khair Elam, you could talk about maybe even Travis Jones, I think could be viable here. Devin Lloyd, so yeah. Actually, the Patriots, they go Devin Lloyd. I like this because I think him as a Dante Hightower type in his defense makes a ton of sense. I know they bring in Mac Wilson, but it was off a trade. They traded a guy that they didn't regard highly in Chase Winovich. I liked Winovich, but they didn't particularly weren't high on him, but or at least he was in the doghouse early after his rookie season. Very promising rookie season, by the way. But yeah, I mean, Mac Wilson's not stopping me from taking Devin Lloyd. I think this is where I would start thinking about linebacker, and it would definitely be with this pick. The Green Bay Packers go Chris Olave. They got to address receiver, man. They just lost MVS, so I mean, Treylon Burks could be interested at this pick. I think with one of their picks, they're going to go receiver. Let's see if they double up on it. That's what I'm interested about. There's their Arizona Cardinals take Trent McDuffie. So grabbing more cornerback depth is definitely key. And they are with a guy like Byron Murphy. Obviously, they like something about Washington corners, perhaps. I don't think they're entirely the best scheme fits, but Byron Murphy looked like he worked out last year. He was able to play more on the outside. A guy you could also kick inside. You could very much say the same thing about Trent McDuffie. And then Tyler Linderbaum going to the Dallas Cowboys. I know a lot of Cowboys fans like this because it seems it's an upgrade over Tyler Biadasz, but it's Tyler Biadasz. But both are, in my eyes, in my opinion, are center-only prospects. You still now have massive holes at left guard, at both tackle positions. Sure, you still have Terrence Smith, but he's a guy that's up there in years and hasn't really played a full season in what feels like forever. So I think grabbing someone with a bit more flexibility, like I think Zion Johnson would be a wonderful get here for the Dallas Cowboys. And then the Buffalo Bills, we see the first run back on the board because of course we do. If you didn't know, Maurice Jones-Drew is a former running back. So they go with Breece Hall. I don't think we see a running back go in the first round. If we do, it's probably Breece Hall. The way he measured up and tested out just seems like he could sneak into the first round. Tennessee Titans go with Kenyon Green. This is another guy, which I'm surprised he's going ahead of Zion Johnson, but another guy with that versatility that he could play a variety of different spots, but likely he's going to be a guard prospect in the NFL. And with Roger Saffold gone, yeah, it kind of makes sense. They also have Quisenberry in free agency, so Green, a guy who actually graded out pretty well at the beginning of the year, a right tackle, could also hold down the right tackle position if you need him to. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they go with Zion Johnson. This is where it comes off the board. I'm surprised he didn't come off the board earlier. This would be a great get. I think this is the floor for Zion Johnson in the draft. So, in fact, the Green Bay Packers double up at wide receiver. They get Treylon Burks. So, Treylon Burks is that big vertical threat. They have a guy like Chris Olave who could really attack all parts of the field. Honestly, that's a crazy 1-2 duo. I don't know if it happens. I think the top five receivers will be off the board by 28, but we'll see. We'll see when the draft comes. And then this is actually, my Dolphins traded this pick to the Chiefs with their first pick. They're going Christian Watson. Listen, rumor is they go receiver with one of these two picks. It sounds like it's Sky Moore. Sounds like they're really high on Sky Moore. I know Christian Watson came out, tested out like a freak. He's had probably the best offseason draft process of any receiver in this class. But, I mean, again, rumor is, if we're doing this predictive, rumor is it's Sky Moore. And then with their next pick, they go with corner Roger McCreary. I like the idea. Roger McCreary coming in playing slot. They kind of had Snead do that, but Snead looks like he's going to be playing bulk of the time outside with Ward gone. I believe they still have Fenton. And so maybe ideally you kind of want to go with outside, right? But I mean, they could maybe address that in round 2. McCreary comes in, plays slot. You got Thornhill and Reed. They're going to be more your safety options there. So, like, Trent McDuffie would actually be a very interesting piece to add here too, but he's not on the board. The Cincinnati Bengals, they continue to address the offensive line with Jamari Sawyer. I think this is a bit rich. I'm not this high on Jamari Sawyer. I think he's a hell of a guard prospect. I guess this would mean he comes in and plays left guard, because then you're going to have Ted Karras at center. You're going to have Alex Kappa at right guard. And then obviously you got your tackles and Collins and Williams. I'm not opposed to it. Keep adding competition. Just keep adding talent to the offensive line. I'm not necessarily sure how they feel about Jackson Carman. So if they feel like they could upgrade him, then sure, go for it. But for me, this is rich for Sawyer. And then with the final pick, best believe Detroit's going to be like, hey, we could get a 5th-year option on this cat. Let's do it. Carson Strong, though. Wow. This is exceptionally high. Carson Strong, I got behind guys like Matt Corral, Desmond Ridder, Sam Howell. So, yeah, it's a bit of a surprise. I get he's a strong arm quarterback, but you kind of need a bit more than that. From a mobility standpoint, there's just better guys in this class than him. And then, of course, you got the knee concerns. They don't sound like they're that big of a concern, but still it's something you're going to, you're going to consider, especially in the first round. So I don't know about Carson Strong. I think these last 2 picks are kind of surprising. But let me know what you think in the comment section below, dude. Maurice Jones-Drew, dude, he always has interest in mock drafts, and you always know you got to include a running back. Obviously, the Travon Walker thing at one's kind of wild. I'm trying to look for the one prospect that, like, because typically he has a guy that he's typically right about, and he has him go very highly. I guess maybe Andrew Booth might be that guy. But then again, we talk about Andrew Booth a lot at the end of the first round anyway. Maybe Kenny Pickett, but I mean, we all know how I feel about Kenny Pickett. But yeah, no, it's all. I always love checking out his mock drafts. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. That's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing as always. Until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.